So we have the full moon forecast for April 21st. This is the full moon in Aries. I'm sorry, the new moon. I'm sorry, new moon in Aries. You see, new moon is here, 7:30 Aries, and it's joined Jupiter. We also have Mars is direct in Leo. Venus is in Taurus. So both Mars and Leo are strong, both Mars and Venus are strong. Mars being the planet of courage, self-will, moving forward in life, he's the ruler of this new moon, and it's an exalted sun. So this is a very powerful time to assert our individuality and to express ourselves as a strong individual. And we're going to feel the clarity and the strength of our individuality right now, and may do things that assert our individuality, even if it means like leaving relationships where we're not respected, which could really be a big thing, or, expressing our needs with a lot of courage. And I say the thing about the relationship needs because Venus is in Taurus with Ketu, so there's a lot of focus on whether or not we feel respected and appreciated and things like that. With Mars and Leo and exalted sun, we're kind of feeling like, well, I deserve to feel better, or I deserve to be treated better, and there can be a lot of that, and the kind of willingness to assert our individuality over it. So exalted sun is about following our strong, independent self, and so that will be a big part of this new moon, and for the next 30 days with the moon, sun, and Aries. Jupiter is joined here, and so he gives that kind of optimism and hope and forward-looking, expansive quality. So you've felt quite a bit of that these days. There's a lot of potential for that, but Mercury is still debilitated, so we might not be expressing ourselves very well, especially if Mercury is not a very powerful planet for you. You might be miscommunicating and messing things up by not communicating effectively, by communicating too emotionally and things like that. To be careful of those sorts of things with Mercury in Pisces still. Again, these things can kind of snowball with poor communications and then kind of throwing down with an overly aggressive individualism that you might tend to regret if you're not careful. And so this is a kind of composite of what we might be feeling in general. This is all in the within the backdrop of the new moon in Aries, which is, as I say, ruled by Mars, and Mars is really powerful now moving forward in Leo, where we have the courage to be that strong individual. And so the nakshatra of the new moon is Ashwini, which is ruled by two horses, the Ashwin Kumars. They're the physicians of the gods, so it's a good month for metaphysical healing and looking into the deeper into the deeper mysteries of life that but not necessarily through a sort of inner probing, but actually exploring and pursuing things with a lot of speed of implementation. So something to realize for the next month or so. It's actually very good, especially for like business. I should say for business applications and for pursuing your goals. This is the part of Aries. The first part of Aries is ruled by the Ashwin Kumars, the twin horses, because it's about taking action. And life and accomplishments and our career goals and our entrepreneurialism is really rewarded by speed of implementation. One of the reasons I see it so many times, and I hear about it with my clients and with people, they have all these ideas about things they'd like to do, and they never do anything about it. They never act on it. It just remains these ideas. People are afraid to make mistakes. They're afraid to look foolish. They're afraid to look stupid. They're afraid to fail and make a mistake. And Aries, especially Ashwini, is where we just try it. That Aries enthusiasm, that childlike enthusiasm to just, I wonder what happens if I do this. Now, you want to consider what you're doing. You don't want to do anything rash and impulsive, but now is the time to really implement. The speed of implementation, there's a direct result of success to speed of implementation. Find out something that might work and try it, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Now is the time to really try something new. With enthusiasm and courage, The worst thing that'll happen is it won't play out as well as you think, but what you're doing is you're learning, you're gaining experience. You know, we all know the story of Edison, who had hundreds of, quote, failures before he reached upon the right formula for the filament of a light bulb, and he said, I've never had any failures. They were just all things that didn't work the first time. These were just things that I could then eliminate. So we keep trying until we hit upon the perfect formula, but we have to try. And that's the greatness of the next month, is to try. Try to put new things into place instead of sitting around wondering what would happen if only this could happen, if only blah, 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 waiting for the perfect situation to come forth. It's never going to be that. So speed of implementation is directly related to success. How quickly you implement things, and then how quickly you try something else, and how quickly you learn from the mistakes and keep going with enthusiasm. That's the greatness of Aries, and we have exalted sun in Aries. So Ashwini is where we want to get those two horses running in the same direction, though. So this is the thing to realize. You want to implement, but you want to do it based on intelligence and then learn from your mistakes and move forward. So now I'll do the forecast for my gold members for the upcoming month.